KCC311 week number 6. This is our second video on creating maps from spreadsheets. We saw a map like this last time on the Divvy bicycle stations throughout Chicago. Here's another view of the map, and the different colors represent how many bicycles are available in each station. So if I zoom in a little, you see it's darker colors here, closer to, there's a Navy Pier, and you got the aquarium and the planetarium. Makes sense. Darker colors here, more bicycles, more people go to those tourist areas. Out here it's lighter in the smaller neighborhoods. That kind of makes sense. This is a good map. It has good information. I like the coloring. It helps me tell where the bicycles are in the city. But one thing about this is the bicycles don't change much. They sit in place right there. You have the same stations in 6 months' time. I want to see about where do the people bicycle to? Where do the riders go? And you can access, here's a Google Sheet. You can find this on Blackboard. This Google Sheet has records of when they started, when they left, where they went from, and where they went to, for 100,000 bicycle rides. So this is a huge spreadsheet. You want to talk about big data? Here we go. Where they left, when they went, and where they went. 100,000 different people. We have a huge amount of data here. How could I somehow take this giant spreadsheet and get it to appear in a map like here? That's our main goal here. In particular, I'm going to look at this data and say, how many people went to this station? How many people went to that station? How many people bicycled to all these different stations? How can I do that with this spreadsheet? This is a Google Sheet. You can solve everything for week 6 in this Google Sheet. I'm going to do it in Excel because it's so big. It can take a little longer in Google Sheets. So I'm going to go to Excel for it, but everything I do will be able to solve in Google Sheets. So once again, my question is, how can I create a map like this, colored, but the colors don't represent the number of bicycles, they represent the number of people that bike to a certain station. So that's my main goal. Let's get to Excel and check it out. All right, like I promised, everything I can do in Google Sheets I can do in Excel. And it's the same thing with this spreadsheet. You'll notice also at the bottom there's two different, we call them tabs on a spreadsheet. One is the information about the stations, and one is the information about where the people went to. And like I said, this is the one I want to focus on. I want to say how many people bicycled here, how many people bicycled here, how many people bicycled there, and so on and so forth. Let's go to the station one. You'll see this column here. It says number of trips. And that's what I want to get information. I want quantitative data. I want to say a number here for how many people bicycle to that station. I want a number here for how many people bicycle to that station, and so on and so forth. The process is a formula, same in Excel, same in Google Sheets. Start with an equals, always with an equals. And I'm going to type count if, and you'll see it pops up. I can double click it. Count if, we used it before. It says how many people went to that station, how many people went to that station, and so forth. But I do need to type two different things. There says the range here. I need to go click the change tabs, go to the rides, and click I here. In other words, I'm looking at all those 100,000 different people who rode the bicycle. And I hit a comma, and I got to switch tabs again. So a little back and forth between the tabs. It can be a little confusing, but you'll figure it out. And I want to say from all those 100,000 people, how many people bicycled to that station? I click there, and I close the parentheses. I hit enter. It tells me 16 people bicycle to there. Out of 100,000, that's a lot of people, and maybe not so many going to this destination. All right, so it's not the most exciting destination, I guess, is what the data is telling us. But guess what? That's a start. Let's pull this down a little bit, and you'll see the numbers start to fill in. I say, oh, 635. Okay, the planetarium. That's a little more in demand. We got almost 600 people biking there. All right, and we can pull this, keep pulling it down, and the formula keeps going. Actually, I'm going to double-click that little corner box here. Double-click, and Excel just goes and fills it in for all 500, or there's about 580 stations throughout Chicago. I now have this data. I now have all of this big data, 100,000 bicycle rides. I now have it organized by station. I can tell you, okay, there's 199 people who bicycled to Ada Street and Washington Boulevard. Great. I've got the data. Now I got to get it to a map. We did it before. We went from a spreadsheet to a map. So let's walk through this process. Now, one problem is I'm talking about this spreadsheet has two different tabs. The Google Maps doesn't like that. You need to get rid of this tab and only take this tab. But before I do that, there's a little trick I got to do. If I delete this right here, it's going to delete all these numbers, because where did those numbers come from? They came from the bicycle rides, the big data. So watch what I got to do here. I got to click this column here, and I'm going to hit Control C. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to copy that, and now I'm going to right click, and here it says 1, 2, 3. It says values, and I click that. What I'm doing is I'm just copying the numbers in, not the formulas that I typed in. I'm just copying the numbers. If you're doing that on Google Sheets, you'll do virtually the same thing. Control C to copy, Control C copies, and then if you right click, it'll say paste values. In my case, it says the numbers 1, 2, 3, and then you paste that, and those numbers will stay there. Now, how come I'm doing that? Nothing looked like it changed, but what I'm doing is I'm pasting those numbers in there. So now I click this ride information. This is the big data. I don't want it anymore. Why don't I want it? Because Google, when I'm making a map, it doesn't like having two different tabs. So I go up here, right click it, hit delete. It says data might exist. Yeah, I don't want it. Hit delete. It's gone. Now my data, my spreadsheet only has these quantitative data telling me how many people bicycled to each station. So I'm going to go ahead and save that because I just want the quantitative data. I don't want all that big data. I want to save it. And now it's time to get back to this Google My Maps. So we did this before. If you're in your Google Drive, go to New, go to over here, Google My Maps, and up pops a brand new map. This is going to sound familiar from video number 1. I'm going to hit Import. I don't have a KML this time. I have a spreadsheet, so I hit select a file. Okay, here's all my files. Which one did I just name that? I think I was just working with Divi Data, so I hit Open. It's going to take a second, and here pops up, just like video number 1. It's asking for latitude and longitude. Where do I place these numbers? Hit Continue. It asks for a title, just like before. I hit Name. That's fine. Hit Finish. It takes a second because there's 500 stations all around the city, and ta-da! It pops up right here. Now I talked about this before. This is boring. How come all this? It's got the stations, but they're just blank. They're just blue. Nothing showing up. We need to change the style at this point. So I hit Uniform Style, Group Places By, click that, and go down here. Not the capacity, that was last time. Number of trips. How many people bicycle to each of these stations? So I click Number of Trips. It's going to take a second here. It's thinking because there's a lot of numbers in that spreadsheet. And ta-da, it shoots out all these different things. Now, something is really wrong because I got a lot of these rainbow colors, but then I got a lot of these like gray colors here. And you'll see down here it says no value or other. That's because there's so many different stations, so many different bicycling, so many different statistics on all those stations that it can't graph them all. Remember last video I was talking about ranges. This is where the range is really important. So you click ranges, and now I'm starting to see the patterns. I'm seeing light colors here. That's because not too many people bicycle to those stations. I'm seeing dark colors here because a lot of people bicycled there. I'm doing 4 ranges. Maybe I can go up to 9 ranges and they'll see it's slightly different. You see the really dark, the medium dark, and the light dark. Maybe you're not feeling blue. Maybe you're like the color red. Go for it. You can add some style. But now what I have done, I have taken the Excel spreadsheet right here. Excel spreadsheet has the number of bicycle trips, and I have successfully turned that into a Google My Map that is colored by where those people go. So if you zoom in a little bit to this map, it's saying, yeah, really dark numbers, really a lot of people are biking to these stations, which is by Navy Pier, by the lakefront, by the tourist attractions in Chicago. And these are some of the lighter colors are way out here, smaller neighborhoods where maybe a few people ride the bicycle to and from work, but there's not major destinations. So this is the process. You're going to take a Excel spreadsheet or a Google Sheet. You're going to walk through those processes of using COUNTIF and finding this data. You need to copy and paste the data so that you can it will not be deleted. Delete the big data sheet. Just keep this quantitative data, and once you have that quantitative data, you're going to import it to your Google My Map and then style it by the number of trips. A lot of process, a lot of steps going on for this week number 6, but if you walk through those steps and you got the video, you can check it out again, you'll have your colored Google My Map, which is part of your week number 6 assignment. You got any more questions? Please reach out.